Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Primary Market Chatter brought to you by Sunday Investing. This is the December 4th week edition where we'll be reviewing IPOs and IPOs are coming quite a bit. They are not in short supply. Let me just say it that way. There are like 8 IPOs next week, which are clashing. So we'll be kind of covering five of them today, five Mainboard IPOs and one SME IPO today. And then we'll probably do one more space tomorrow or day after, to cover the other IPOs. In the meanwhile, I can probably see that there's some issue with the comments section. People can't post in comments. Like I at least can't post in comments, and Twitter Spaces tends to be all over the place. I'm just trying to figure out what to do in that case. But maybe you would see that I have made a new comment on my timeline, where I have posted the link to my YouTube channel. I am posting that, and you can put any of your comments on that specific uh, thread, and I will take those comments from there. Sorry, it's just that at times Twitter can tend to do slightly random things. What I have also done is I have now pinned the comment above, तो आप वहां से जाके YouTube चैनल को सब्सक्राइब भी कर सकते हैं एंड उसके नीचे आप अपने कमेंट भी डाल सकते हैं अगर आप यहाँ पे कमेंट नहीं डाल पा रहे हैं. So anything which we are talking about the companies, you can put in your comments from there and we'll take them from there. Having said that, just want to highlight a couple of starting things before we get started. And thank you so much, guys, for all the love that you have given us over the last 1 week, especially with Life listing. We were able to spot the trend and write it, and the company did manage to list at 20%, and उसके बाद भी 20% circuit लगाया company ने, when the GMP was like 2.5-3% on last day. That's when we had said that we are applying for this issue. So thank you so much for just being with us and being able to, and all of us made probably some gains in that. Having said that, just want to highlight what we do on this spaces. हम लोग companies के बारे में बात करते हैं from a fundamental view on what the companies do, what do we think of them, and then basis that we tell what we are going to do in terms of applying or not applying. Having said that, those are not qualified opinions, i.e. They cannot be treated as a apply or a not applied recommendation. Please please do your own due diligence and take financial advisors' help if required. We are only in a way supplementing your research. Do your due research is all I'll say per se. Second thing जो मैं highlight करना चाहूंगा is what I already said. ये spaces हम record करके YouTube पे भी डाल देते हैं. So if someone is joining us for the first time, YouTube channel का pinned comments में link है. वहां से आप जाके YouTube channel को भी ज्वाइन कर सकते हो और वहां से अपना डिटेल्स डिटेल्स देख सकते हो. Now setting up the space, how today's space should probably be an hour long as we have a lot of companies to cover. We'll probably start with Mamata Machinery, then go to Concord Enviro, then do Dam Capital, then Sanathan Textile, then SME New Malayalam, and end with Transrail. So a lot of heavy blockbuster companies next week, but we are targeting to cover all companies today which are closing on Monday, ताकि हमें Monday को एटलीस्ट ये पता रहे. I understand Monday वाला फंड Tuesday को नहीं यूज हो पाएगा, so we'll try and do one more space before Monday ideally if possible, i.e. tomorrow. We'll talk about the other companies as well, ताकि ये clearly state हो जाए कि क्या क्या कंपनीज में कैसे फंड मैनेजमेंट एटलीस्ट हम कर रहे हैं एंड व्हाट इज आर व्यू. हैविंग सेड दैट, अगेन वी कैन बी रॉन्ग, वी कैन बी राइट, सो डू नॉट बी कंप्लीटली परसुएडेड एंड डू एग्जैक्टली व्हाट वी आर डूइंग. इन अ वे थिंक ऑफ इट एज अ एडिशन टू योर रिसर्च. Having said that, let me now probably move forward to the first company, which is Mamata Machinery. So the company works in packaging industry and manufactures and exports machines for making plastic bags, punches, packaging and extrusion equipment. An interesting fact about the company is that it is the first mainboard IPO of the merchant banker Beeline Capital. Just setting up the company for Tanmay. The company is coming in with an IPO of 179 CR. So a very, very small IPO, just 180 crores on a mainboard IPO. And all of it is OFS. I know growth capital is being raised by the company. सब कुछ company का जो capital raise हो रहा है वो promoters exit ले रहे हैं. और जो कंपनी है वो मार्केट कैप 600 सीआर पे आ रही है, 600 सीआर पे. एंड इन टर्म्स ऑफ FY24 फाइनेंशियल्स, कंपनी ने 241 सीआर का रेवेन्यू किया था एंड 36 सीआर का पैट किया था इन FY24. सो उस हिसाब से देखोगे तो द कंपनी इज कमिंग प्रीटी चीप एट लाइक लेट्स से FY24 17-18p, समथिंग लाइक दैट. In terms of the LM for the company is, as I said, Beeline Capital is their first issue. So with that, maybe Tanmay, do you want to take over and talk about Mamata Machinery?
Is my voice clear?
Yes, sir.
हाँ actually यार बहुत short and sweet review है. You have already said 50 to 60% of my review, so I have very small, little things left for me to tell. So Mamata Machinery is a manufacturer and exporter of machines which are used in the packaging and FMCG industries. They sell their machines under two brands. One is Vega and one is Win. And this company exports the machines to 75 countries. Okay. Their largest export market is USA. I guess it's 25 or 27% of their complete revenue. Its products are plastic bags, making machineries, extrusion equipments, and pouch making machines. Okay. Uh, the clientele is very general. Everyone knows that Balaji Wafers, Stare Bandhu Mithai Wale from Pune. If anyone is from Pune, they know. V3 Polyplast, Deep Polymers are all their clients. So this company is raising 179 crores, completely an OFS done by promoters. Uh, uh, I'll just tell the financials. FY23 was revenue was 201 crores. PAT was 22.5 crores. One thing to note here is the PAT had increased drastically from FY22 numbers. The reason was there was some 5.9 crore government assistance given to the company. I guess there were some floods or something on their facilities. I'm guessing that because government generally gives assistance on that parameters. So due to that, the PAT looks very stretched in FY23. In FY24, the revenue grew by 15 odd percent to 236.6 crores, and PAT grew by roughly 50% to 36.1 crores. Now I'll just check its Q1. The revenue is just 29.1 crores and PAT is just 22 lakhs. One will say कि यार इसका तो मतलब financials पूरा खराब हो चुका है Q1 में. Very important thing to notice, the company uh, accounts for just 12.5% odd revenues in Q1. मतलब बहुत ही lumpy business है. Q1, Q2 is larger than Q1, Q3 is larger than Q2, and Q4 and Q3 are almost similar, 5-10% difference, not more than that. So, now see, how did I do this? In RHP, the data is given how much machines this company sold in complete year, like FY24. I guess they sold a total of what 250 machines, and in Q1 of this year, they have sold roughly 25 machines. And you'll just add that 15-20%, 12% growth number, you'll get that number of 12.5%. So that how I did that. So if I just annualize the numbers and put some 15-20% growth, the FY25 numbers look like 280 crores kind of revenue and PAT of roughly 38 to 40 crores. So on that basis, the company is coming at 15p, 600 crores, not even 600, 598 crores market cap. Uh, very cheap valuations, and you can consider this company as a cap good company only, what we can say, a lower profile cap good company. And the peers are actually very large size, and each one has some different story why their P multiples are higher or why their margins are lower, but everyone is poised to do some good earnings, so their valuations are extremely high. The anchor book was very good. We saw three good names in it. Madhu Kelaji was there, Prashant Jain of a former HDFC mutual fund guy at 3P mutual fund. He is the fund manager of that fund. And then also we saw Autumn Investment, which is run by Mr. Sanjay Dangi. So all these three are very high profile investors. Pre-IPO was also done in this company at, I guess, 180 rupees. Now IPO is coming at 243. I guess very small, short, sweet, nothing much to cover on this company, but it's a blind kind of an apply. I feel ki 60-70% kind of 50 to 70% kind of listing gains are bound to happen. Even in weak markets, it will list at 50%. So who wants to see? First of all, allotment chances are going to be extremely thin. But those who want to take a safe bet or interested to just play on the high GMP, this is for you. Clear apply, so nothing much bad to say about it.
Got it. Maybe before I go to Rohit, I understand we had a few questions, but Tanmay, my first question is like, Q1 is 12.5% of the business. Like, is this a cyclic business? How do you determine cyclicity? क्योंकि अगर मैं first thought पे सोचूं, तो machine तो साल भर बिकनी चाहिए अगर packaging की. Like, how do you say it's like a cyclic business and in what shape? Like,
Sir, actually this trend is similar in all their peers, be it listed or unlisted. The sector works that way. They stack up the inventory in Q1 and then they sell that inventory. It's inventory kind of a business and not a specifically made business. But actually they are selling normal machines, not much different, but their accounting is done in that way. That sense, what I can see is, and management has clearly said that the lumpiness is there, and beyond the lumpiness in RHP, the figures are given. कि last year उन्होंने कितने बेचा और फर्स्ट क्वार्टर में कितना बेचा. सो आउट फ्रॉम दैट वी कैन इजीली फिगर आउट कि ये साल कितना बेचे. सो वेरी नॉट अ वेरी technical kind of an answer from my part because I'm a bit not from that industry, but what I can understand is there is lumpiness and it will continue in future.
Got it. Second question which I had was how do you look at its peers? Like peers कहाँ पे होनी चाहिए? Like how do you rate this company? What P makes sense to you per se? Like peers कहाँ पे? Who all are the peers? Anything on that front?
Sir, majority of their peers, they have shown some peers which are in very different sectors, capital goods companies. They have a small percentage of their revenue from the plastic machineries and kind of packaging machineries. All these are trading like 40p, 60p, 80p. One is negative p, just turned profitable. But each one of them have maybe incurred a capex or have got some massive orders, or there is some what we can say. Some developments on each company. Each company has a different story. So they are trading at very absurd, kind of, I won't say absurd, but very uncomparable valuations. So I feel this company, you cannot compare with any listed peer in the apple to apple sense. But you can assign it a kind of a multiple which you give to a middle profile, a cap good company kind of a 30 kind of a multiple, 25, 30, 32 kind of a multiple. So it's a very general kind of a multiple and no very specific explanation from that part that what should be the valuation. Yes, market can surely stretch it because it's a very cash generating business. Good business, very old business. Promoter is very good, and there are some good pre-IPO names also in it, and the demand was very good during the pre-IPO times.
Got it. That's helpful. We have covered a lot about Mamata Machinery. Rohit, do you have anything to add specifically on how do you value this company?
Honestly, no. I think it is more on I think demand supply is a very small issue. Very high quality investors have a feeling this can list way higher than it should and then probably come down. That is my gut that it will, probably 80%, 70-80% is a fair value, but it's the kind of thing that can list much higher, see some very temporary demand and then come down subsequently. Just because of the size of the issue, the names of investors have come in. Last time there was a similar issue, Diffusion Engineers, which listed low and then ran up so much that FOMO inevitably comes. So I don't think the fair value is like outside the realm of what Tanmay is saying, just how the listing might end up happening. Anyway, getting allotment here is virtually impossible, so hard to optimize for that.
So there is a general doubt ki any peers in RHP. So I'll just tell on that part. One peer they have shown is Raju Engineers. They recently have got a good order book. There were some good investors which entered the stock, which it has ran heavily. It is trading at a roughly 60-65 kind of a PE. The second one is Windsor Machines. Windsor has a very different kind of a story. It was a debt company, then very large what we can say fundraise has happened, and now the company is restructured and set to do very good numbers for ideally next financial years. The third one is Cabra Extrusion. That's actually a very different kind of a player that trades at roughly 30-35 P. So honestly, all these three are not at all comparable. Just given कि इनके पूरे business model में एक छोटा सा plastic machines है. So I don't feel you should take these multiples or even compare. This is a very different company. Mamata Machine, it's a pure play packaging machine kind of a company. Now see, packaging companies trade at anywhere between 15 to 60p. So if you are thinking I'll give it a premium or give it a discount or take somewhere in middle, or as a packaging I'll give it a lower multiple due to lower growth prospect. So that's on you. It's a purely a personal judgment, but I feel like 25-30 multiple can be given as a cap good company.
Got it. Understood. With that, we have kind of covered Mamata Machinery. Just one last thing which I want to highlight. This will be a T2T issue, right? I'm assuming कि इसमें basically recharge allowed नहीं होगा. So जो एक बार share आप ले लेंगे वो दूसरे दिन ही बिकेगा. So be careful on that front. T2T stocks can be slightly more volatile than your usual stocks. Like ये थोड़ा सा SME की याद दिलाते हैं क्योंकि SME में भी usually T2T होता है. T2T stands for trade to trade. Basically आपने अगर ट्रेड किया तो उसी दिन नहीं बेच सकते, आप अगले दिन ही बेच सकते हो. Buy today, sell tomorrow, BTST. Is the earliest form of selling them. So be careful on that front as well. Just one question before we move forward. Are you guys planning to apply to Mamta? What is your strategy?
I'm clearly avoiding.
Retail.
Yeah.
हाँ रिटेल तो लगा देंगे यार. Avoid means retail only.
Yeah, I'm also planning to apply retail. It will be a very heavy subscribed issue. It's just putting in a lottery ticket, buying that lottery ticket, and then hoping. With that, we have covered the first company, Mamata Machinery. I see a lot of people joining today. So if you have joined for the first time or first time space में हो, तो definitely go ahead and join the YouTube channel as well, जो ऊपर pinned comments में है. youtube.com/sundayinvesting. यहाँ पे हम अपने कंपनीज का रिव्यू डाल देते हैं. जब ये एक बार स्पेस कंप्लीट हो जाएगा तो आप अपने लेजर पे भी ये कंपनी सुन सकते हैं एंड आगे पीछे करके सुन सकते हो एंड एक इशू एक टाइम पे सुन सकते हो. मे बी विद दैट वील मूव फॉरवर्ड एंड लेट मी मूव टू द सेकंड कंपनी विच इज कॉनकॉर्ड एनवायरो. Concord Enviro is a global water and wastewater treatment and reuse solutions provider, including zero liquid discharge technology. It has two manufacturing facilities, one in Vasai, India, and another in Sharjah, UAE. The interesting fact about this company is that the rising ESG trend is leading to very strong sector tailwinds for sustainable water solutions. Coming to the setting up the IPO, the company is coming up with an IPO of 500 CR. Out of which around 175 CR is a fresh issue. यानी promoter के पास 325 CR जाएंगे जो कि वो cash out कर रहे हैं और 175 CR would be used for growth of the company. The company is raising 500 CR at a market cap of 1450 crores. और अगर मैं financials की बात करूं तो company did 512 CR revenue in FY24 at a PAT and made a PAT of 41 CR. So if I talk about 41 CR, the company is coming somewhere around 35 PE if I'm not wrong. And in terms of the LMs for the company, LMs are Motilal Oswal and Equirus. So with that, maybe Rohit, do you want to go ahead and share your read of Concord Enviro?
Thanks, Mahesh. I'll cover Concord. It's an interesting company. I'll come to my read at the end, but I'll just lay down the pros and the cons. So it's a 500 crore issue, 175 fresh, 325 OFS. Majority of this is by an investor, not by the promoters themselves. This company is an industrial wastewater focused company. In fact, within this also, they focus only on zero liquid discharge. They don't do the sort of conventional industrial wastewater. The benefit of zero liquid discharge is that it can be reused. So that's it. So technically it is more complex. And the fact that it is focused on reuse is also effectively much better than simply discharge focus. It shows that the quality of water that's coming out is higher. They do this for pharma, chemical, a bunch of segments, metals and so on. This is a little different than Enviro Infra that just came some time back, which is more government tender focused. They do, these municipal sewage treatment plants, and that is more on discharge focused and not really on reuse focused. The right peers are probably somebody like a Vatek Vabag or an Ion Exchange, where a good part of their order book is actually this kind of ZLD industrial wastewater treatment. Whereas for Concord, everything, 95% I think of their business is just this. Even somebody like an FWA in SME segment is, I'd say closer to this company than an EMS or an Enviro. They are very different. Like I wouldn't even count them as peers. So what I liked about this company, they have very good capabilities. They do, fairly complex, wastewater treatment. They do desalination, which is probably going to be a big need going forward. They do ZLD, which is a zero liquid discharge. They do different kinds of heat evaporation. They do ultrafiltration. They're also getting into compressed biogas more recently. That is from this year, where they have won a couple of orders in this segment, which is converting some of the waste biomass that comes from this treatment, this wastewater treatment, into biogas, which itself is its own market and, can sort of push the company in a different trajectory. They also have some technology which they are claiming to be in-house, which no peers do, which is again some kind of heat evaporation thing. I could not get into the details of this, but I'm kind of taking it on face value from the RHV. So these guys, the other thing that I liked is they also make the systems and the plants in-house. The membranes, which is a USP, the evaporators, all of these are made in-house. So they're largely backward integrated. So they're not just like an EPC player that purchases equipment from different sources, integrates everything and delivers it to the client. They also show that in the amount they spend on R&D. They have 4 patents. So overall, I thought that the fundamentals of this company are very good, very interesting business. 60% of their business is in India, 40% is international. They have a very strong, international order book. They have very, very high quality clients. One client I'll just name is Diageo, which is a client that has been coming over and over. I think almost 250 crore of their overall revenue is just from this one client. And I think 90% of their orders today are from repeat clients. It's a good and a bad thing. It means that their existing customers are very happy, but they're not really able to win too many new orders. And that's one concern. I'll come to that again later. Internationally, majority of their business comes from Mexico. It's a big geography. And in fact, they've actually set up an operating subsidiary there as well to drive more business and to sort of implement as well as to get more business. If you look at their revenue mix, 60% is this EPC system and plant, which is effectively making the products and then doing the sort of integration that EPC piece. 20% is O&M and 20% is spares. These two are interesting because they are repeat high margin sort of businesses. It impacts the repeat obviously positively, but they're also higher margin business. Coming to some of the slight concerns, one is their utilization is still fairly low. It's only about 30 to 40% depending on the plant. They have one in India and one in Sharjah. But they are looking ahead, saying that they are expecting significant growth, and some of the funds that they're raising is for future capex to be deployed next year. So it's not money that will be used this year, but next year. So the capex will come later. Anyway, they have the capacity for now. Some of the funds they're raising for debt, some of the funds for working capital, some is for like one of their new sort of leasing business lines, some for growth initiatives. So it's quite a complex set of things that they're doing with this, but I'm viewing that positively actually. They're thinking of many different things and using the money sort of many different ways to strengthen the business, the balance sheet in some places, to grow the business in other places and so on. So it's not just a, blank offer for sale and then just saying that I'm going to raise money for working capital. The order book of the company is also low. For me, I would say this is for me the single biggest concern. Most of the businesses in this space usually have a 2 to 3 times sales order book. Whether you take a Vatek, Vabag, Ion Exchange, even an FWA, which is a small SME. FWA's order book is larger than these guys. Their order book is slightly shorter duration, so maybe that is the explanation. But still, just one-time sales is low, and this is the biggest negative. And I couldn't find a good answer, at least in any interview that I saw, on their pipeline. What is the pipeline that they are bidding? This company is also structured into different subsidiaries for different segments. So, I mean, it is a good thing. They have like an India focus for the EPC piece, Sharjah for some of the manufacturing and the desalination pieces. There's a separate entity for pay-per-use, separate for O&M. So it's actually very nice, good company. The promoters seem solid. Outside this order book question, and therefore what exactly will their growth be going forward, or the clarity of growth, I couldn't really find much negative on this business. The numbers are good. Last year they did 500 crore plus with 40 crore PAT, which was a good 30-40% growth year on year. If you see the first 5 months, it's not at all representative in this industry. Especially this company is, extremely just extensively focused on this industrial EPC, unlike some of the other peers. The first 6 months will be very, very small, especially your profitability will be small since a lot of fixed costs are there anyway. But your H2 will be very strong. Again, I'm going a little bit with an FY as a peer because we have the numbers, H1, H2 numbers, and it's a direct sort of comparison. I think last year in H1 they did 1 crore PAT, and in H2 they did some 12 or 13 crore PAT. So it can swing wildly. I would think that they should do at least 650 crore this FY with 45 to 50 crore PAT. This company is trading at around 28 times FY25, which is very reasonable. There is no industrial wastewater peer that trades at less than 35 times for this year. Their balance sheet is also decent compared to peers like a Vatek or an Ion with much lower receivable days. They're actually operationally cash flow break even. So I see there is some scope of valuation adjustment. This 28x can go to 35x, may or may not. It's not a huge sort of, gap. Risk takers can apply. If the markets look decent, I think it's worth taking a bet here. In a weak market though, this can list poorly as well. I'll just highlight that Enviro, which listed recently. It's just a government focused contractor. It's trading at crazy multiples. I think it's a 50P or something. It's shot up. It's on the way back down despite, what look like optically good results. Don't compare with that company. Like in EMS, again, trades at 30 times, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a better number. But if a government contractor can get 30 times, I feel a industrial private play with a lot of unique capability should get higher than that. So 35 times seems like a fair this thing. Anchors were decent for a 500 crore issue. If it wasn't for the order book, this would have been a slam dunk apply for me. If there is some more information on the order book or how that order book will grow, or if there is some sign that this order book of 500 is because these are very short-term projects, so they'll keep sort of replenishing these orders, then definitely a slam dunk apply. But I would say here it's a cautious apply, probably will apply a little bit to get some allotment here, but I cannot see huge listing gains. I can see some small listing gains. If the market is bad, it can also backfire. So only for risk takers as of now. And if there's some clarity on order book, then can go more full force.
Got it. Kind of covered the review quite extensively. बहुत ज़्यादा questions बचे ही नहीं मेरे पास. You covered everything, and I tend to give
Sir,
any
I
water
have
EPC
some
company.
questions. Sir, sir, in the private equity fund partner, I guess GF Capital, if I'm not wrong.
कौन सा इसका?
GF Capital, GF इसका Concord का?
GF Capital, the investor?
No, the P fund which is taking.
Yeah, AF Holdings is good. AF Holdings is good.
GF का ही affiliate है वो. I guess this is the same Premier Energies, GF Capital.
Possible. I've not seen that.
I think वही I'm sure वही है. And I'll add 2-3 points. See, this business is a largely a H2 heavy business, okay? And the margins, major profitability and revenues come in the H2. And this 500 crore, the management has said on television that all will be executed in this financial year only, 80 to 90% of them. And some of its business is not that order book driven. There are some O&M services. Also, I guess 20% or 15% something of their revenue percentage from O&M, whose order book is, I guess, not given, and just the membrane technology based products order book is given to us. So a pretty unique play, and I like one or two statements from the promoter, which I'll highlight is if you are just accounting for how much expenditure the company incurred on installing this membrane technology based ZL zero liquid discharge treatment plants, and if you consider how much yield the company means the client gets, it's 50% efficient. Means if you are going to spend 100 rupees on wastewater treatment of that industrial waste, you are doing it at 50 by using Concord's technology. And this is a good key. You are going towards an environmental sustainability and even saving a good amount in your PNL. And second most is like from last year, there's been a trend. Key companies do not fear from the supply chain concerns or government regulate. They fear from that pollution control board penalties. They highly fear that. So I feel this company as a long term can be a very good kind of a bet. And I'm expecting FY25 can be a 50-55 crore pattern on that. It's roughly valued at 25 times. I feel it's decent. I won't say it's attractive, but for in long term it can do well. And also the promoters, I guess Prayas and Prerak Goel, these two are promoters, very young guys. One is, I guess, 39 or one is 42. So they have long headroom to grow. And they are saying we have 25 years in our life to just make this company. And we are intending to make this a very, very large kind of a company. And I feel, though the promoters are young, but a kind of a people where we can take a bet. Not saying it to be, I'm not saying go and apply for listing ends. Not at all. I'm not saying I don't know what will be the listing. I'll surely share my calculations, but it's a good company for long term. Means like if you want to bet for that environmental sustainability kind of a company with good growth. And I guess in Mexico also they are doing a large expansion, and in Dubai also they have got record orders, so they are actually going much penetrating in more markets.
Got it. So that was with Concord Enviro. Before I ask कि हम लोग apply कर रहे हैं कि नहीं Concord में, just want to highlight if someone's joining us for the first time, ऊपर pinned comments में YouTube channel का link है. आप specific issues भी जाके बाद में सुन सकते हो. Having said that, like Tanmay, Rohit, Yash, what are you guys planning to do with Concord? I will probably put a SHNI here. But what are you guys planning to do?
I will definitely apply for this, but it's about whether to go full force, half force, whether to get too much allotment, some allotment. That will depend a little bit on the screen, but I'll definitely apply. I like the company.
And is there any GMP going for it right now? And what do you expect the big HNI subscription to look like? Something like that? Anything on that?
hard to calculate, yeah, because there's so many conflicting issues. It will depend very, very last minute if GMP goes up, goes down. I don't think GMP is much. It's hardly anything.
Yeah,
So
it's like
it should
8%.
give near assured. If it is near assured allotment, it's best. You can just apply like one BHNI and calculate how much you'll get. And depending on how much allotment you want, you don't have to worry about lottery.
Actually, इसका GMP start हुआ था 60-70 rupees पर, but there are no major trades. So in realistic term, it's zero only because no major trades are done on any level. And for me also, it will be on a below priority list only. Reason being, for this point, I'm skewed towards listing gains, and I will surely evaluate it for long term post the IPO flood. But I'll maybe apply 2, 3, 4 kind of SHNIs, but not beyond that.
Got it. Maybe with that, Yash, I'm assuming you are not applying, right? Because it won't apply.
No, I won't apply. Recently, I applied 2 IPOs. I told you Vishal and IGI, but I'll wait for this Transrail.
Got it. Moving forward, the next company which we'll cover is DAM Capital. The company is an investment bank in India and offers financial solutions comprising equity capital markets, mergers and acquisitions, private equity, and structured finance advisory. And the company has advised over 4 lakh crore worth of deals since its inception. It was earlier also known as IDFC Securities. Having said that, just setting up the IPO, the company is coming up with an IPO of 840 crores. So decentish size, still small, but bigger than Mamata Machineries of the world. So it's a 840 crore IPO, all of which is again a OFS. No growth capital going to the promoter, going to the company, and all of it being taken an exit. The company is valued itself at 2,000 crores. 840 crore raise at 2,000 crores. So a decent chunk is being given out from the company. In terms of the FY24 financials, the company did 182 crores का उन्हें revenue किया और 71 CR का PAT किया. So the company is coming at like, let's say 25 PE, 71, 2000 by 71 should be around 30 PE. And in terms of the LM, Nuvama Wealth is the LM for this company. So having said that, Tanmay, do you want to go ahead and talk about DAM Capital?
Yes. So DAM Capital Advisors Limited is basically a merchant banker for IPOs, QIPs, block deals, mergers and acquisitions, which we call it M&A in short form, private equity funding, OFS, rights issue, REIT, structured finance. And this company also has a second segment called as institutional broking and the research. What is this like? Broking for the institutional level clients and the broking like brokerage reports kind of for the institutional level. So this company derives 67% revenue from merchant banking, which is all this IPOs, QIP, M&A, and stock broking. This institutional broking is 28.3% and 4.5% is other income. This company has 12.1% market share in the book running lead managers that segment, which bankers bring the IPOs. Okay. So this company as of now has facilitated 27 IPOs, 16 QIPs, 6 OFS, 6 preferentials, 6 right issues, 8 buybacks, 4 open offers, 1 REIT IPO. So this company actually is a takeover. Okay, in 2018-19, this company was earlier known as IDFC Securities, which was the merchant banking entity of IDFC Bank. Okay. This was taken over by Dharmesh Anil Mehta, who is a very reputed and experienced merchant or the investment banker. On his name only, the company's name is Dharmesh Anil Mehta, DAM. So the DAM Capital word comes from his name's initials. Oh, I'll just tell you which are the some marquee IPOs which this company has concluded. I guess the first IPO for this company in its post-acquisition was Mazgaon Dock. Second was IRFC, then many, I'm just telling the more popular ones. Keynes Technologies, Sirma, SGS, Ixico, Bansalwire, Afcons recently, and MobiKwik, which has been recently concluded, was also DAM Capital's IPO. And I'll tell the future pipeline, okay? One of the future pipeline is Sanathan Textile, which is going to get covered after DAM. Sanathan Textile is also a DAM Capital company only. The next post this is a JSW Cement. Then All Time Plastics, Anand Rathi Shares and Stock, broking, innovative view. Now, this first four companies where DRHP has already filed, and next ones whose mandates have already taken. Innovative View is one more company. Euro Pratik is one more company. One more DRHP is already filed called True World Bioenergy. So this is their pipeline. So this company is raising 840 crores completely on OFS. And I'll add one thing which I guess was not written by many, even I didn't wrote that. This company has concluded one more private placement, a secondary placement after filing RHP of 360 crores. And all the investors except the promoter have already exited the company fully, not kept even a single share. If I just add up these numbers, it's 1200 crores. Matlab 60% company big chuki already in IPO. 60% is a huge number. I'll tell the investors, very high profile investors. Inam Group, Dhaval Parikh of Trasol Chemicals, Jagdish Master, Susham Jain of Jai Corporation, Maithan Alloys, which is a listed company, and Carnelian Asset Management, Vikas Kemanin. There are a few more individuals. And all the investors, which were, I guess, RBL Bank was one of their investors, and two more investors. Everyone has exited, and the rest company is now owned by public shareholders. 60% and 40% is owned by 41% is owned by the promoter who sold Dharmesh Ji. This company did a revenue of 85 crores in FY23, and PAT was 9 crores. But in FY24, the revenue jumped to 180 crores, more than a 2x jump, and PAT jumped by almost 8 times, more than 8 times, at 70 crores. H1 is at 108 crores top line and 43.8 crores PAT. Okay. Now, a very important thing to understand in this business is the business has the lumpiness. See, when the stock markets are on peaks, you see multiple IPOs coming, and more or see, I'll just tell the structure. Generally, in Mainboard IPOs, 2 to 2.5% of the complete IPO raise is been taken as a fee by the merchant bankers. And if a merchant banker is the sole merchant banker, he gets the whole fee. And if there are 5 bankers, 7 bankers, 2 bankers, it gets distributed in some agreed portion, which is not a general discussion. So we need to understand कि इनका pipeline कितना बड़ा है. I'll just tell the pipeline what is expected in H2 of this financial year. I'm just guessing it because I feel those IPOs are expected. One is Sanathan, which is already opened. The second one is JSW Cement, True World Bio. And already they have concluded 3 IPOs in the H2 is MobiKwik, Afcons, and they will conclude one more all-time plastic. So this 6 IPOs, if I just combine the raise of all these IPOs, it's I guess roughly 4-5 around 11,000 odd crores. Okay. And if you just check out that, you can just take 0.3, 0.4% averagely, because in JSW there are 11 bankers. In all time there are 3 bankers. In True World there are 2 bankers. So just, you can make your maths key. It's roughly kind of a 40 crore kind of a merchant banking fee. Very rough calculation. 40-50 crore kind of. And their institutional broking and that business, they have also concluded QIPs. They also done one buyback. I guess it was Natco Pharma, if I'm not wrong. So overall, H2 pipeline is also very good, and this margins are sustainable at this roughly 40% PAT margins. So, and this company is also exploring one global tie-up for concluding mergers and acquisitions internationally. Means, for example, there's a company Motherson Sumi which always acquires some overseas companies each month. So there are very limited 2-3 bankers which facilitate the global or international M&A. So this company will partner with one of the global bankers, be it like Morgan Stanley kind of, or HSBC, or Citi, or be it any kind of a different out of India's banker. So they'll just facilitate that out of India overseas M&A and acquisitions. So this company is entering 2 more segments in future. So they have not mentioned any kind of path or guidance when we will enter, but they are saying we will enter. The 2 are AIFs, which is alternative investment funds, and the second one is retail broking, offline retail broking. It will not be a discount broker, it will be a normal conventional traditional broker. These 2 segments, this company, I won't say they're exploring, they will do, but when they will do, no answer on that part, and even DRHP or even the promoter is given. If I check the anchor book, very good names, very good, everything is good. 2,000 crore market cap, 22.8 times TTM basis FY25. So see, this company is, I'm giving a green signal to go and apply for listing gains. I'm expecting a 40-60% kind of listing gains. Even more is possible due to the high, as this company is first ever pure boutique merchant banker, investment banker which is getting listed. You can just compare. You cannot compare this with any listed companies as beat Motilal Oswal. Just their 5% revenue comes from merchant banking. Rest is just all the broking kind of stuff. And you can compare this company a bit with JM Financial, whose 35%, I guess, revenues come from the merchant banking, which trades at, I guess, 27, 28 times. There are some exceptional items. So on screen, you can look at 35 p, but it's not at 35. So overall, valuations are decent. I won't say very, very attractive because global merchant bankers trade at 16, 18 times, at 22 times. It's reasonable as per India multiples. I'm not saying it's super cheap, but if the H2 PAT numbers are like kind of 57, 60 crore PAT, then it's good. I guess to 18, 20 times 25 is decent. For listing ins, it's a clear-cut apply. No worries on that part. And the promoter Dharmesh Anil Mehta has very high reputation, one of the most reputed merchant bankers. Majority of his issues do very well on listing, post-listing. So for long term, the business is surely lumpy. If markets are not doing well, the M&As, QIPs happen, which is a natural kind of a hedge. But will it work for the public markets on the back of consistency? I am not sure will the revenues be consistent, and it is not going to be. What I see is not relevant, but the revenues are surely not going to be consistent. There will be surely lumpiness, and it's not something like Mamata की 12-13% Q1 में आ जाए, बाकी का आ जाएगा आपको Q2 Q3 का estimate आ जाएगा. यहाँ पे कोई भी क्वार्टर में कितना भी परसेंटेज आ सकता है. 50% is also possible and Q3 5% is also possible. तो वो आपको वो कंपनी का नेचर ही ऐसा है कि ये कंसिस्टेंटली कभी ओवरऑल कंप्लीट ईयर में कंसोल लेवल पे ये अच्छा परफॉर्म करेगा. होप इट डज, बट क्वार्टरली लेवल पे एक कोई खराब रिजल्ट आएगा, स्टॉक टैंक by 15%. So that will be very normal in this company. What I personally feel is, and yes, 60% company has already been sold to public investors post their lock-in. The liquidity is surely going to increase. So my view on this, see, if anyone is betting on the promoter, and yes, he's really good. I know him from, no means I'm just hearing his voice and from the 3 years. So I know he is a very credible person. But if anyone has a view of a long term, he can just know these risks, and he needs to consider before taking a final call for long term. But for listing ins, surely an apply. No worries on that. But any markets, be it good, bad, it is going to get listed at a very good price.
Got it. Tanmay, मेरा एक question है इस पे, how do you is this one of those businesses where you can with certainty, with fair certainty, calculate what would my revenue look like per se, and what would my PAT look like, and what is the percentage of operating leverage? मैं जैसे देख रहा हूँ FY24 में PAT इतना कम था, and then revenue जैसे ही बढ़ा तो PAT increased suddenly. So is there that much operating leverage which is expected in the business?
Very, very high operating leverage, because in this business, the more, I guess, larger expenses of salaries only, employee benefit expenses, उसके बाद तो फिर बहुत ही जनरल खर्चे होते हैं. So higher goes the revenues, the operation leverage. एक टाइम में भी आ जाएगा इनका EBITDA 70-80% रहेगा. अभी भी शायद almost 60% kind of है. So it will have that leverage, and it will surely have. So no worries. But yes, the day they say we will enter AIFs, will enter fund asset management, will enter retail broking. So margins, I know in this business margins are good, but when you set up that at first 2 years, or even the when you are not having any kind of top line, just you are incurring expenses, then that balance sheet gets weaker. So don't know on the margins, but if they are continuing just as a merchant banker and the investment advisory, institutional broking, then the margins can even expand from here.
Got it. So with that is with respect to DAM capital, and what do you expect anything on the numbers, like subscription numbers, because again this is not a huge size IPO, which is essentially just the curse of almost all IPOs next week. There's no one big IPO where you can say that it's a very good IPO and you apply, there will be high chances as well. So where do you fit this one in the priority? Are you planning to go full force in this? And second, how are you looking at it in terms of long term? Are you only applying for listing gains and then you'll take a call, or what are you planning to do?
Sir, see, the subscription is set to be very crazy. very huge subscription is expected because the name is reputed. Investors have good valuations are okay for one of a kind listing, and the GMP, of course, anyone knows it's 60%. So in everyone's priority list, Dam Capital starts at number one position. So it will get that subscription. I am personally वो avoid retail ही है. I'm not interested to go in that. जस्ट भीड़ में नहीं जाना चाहता हूँ, अलॉटमेंट नहीं मिलने वाले इसमें, तो सो आई स्किप इट, जस्ट रिटेल.
Got it. I'll also probably just put in a retail application just to play the lottery game. Rohit, what is your strategy and any views on DAM Capital before we move forward to the fourth company?
A very similar view. I'm not personally interested in these sort of hyper cyclical businesses. Like you can just look at GM Financial, which is not the best, which is the only sort of peer we have. You can just see its performance over the last 15 years and how cyclical the price move is. And investing in these at the top of the cycle or when the cycle is, at least on the way up or significantly on the way up is always risky. So it looks like a listing gain thing. This is the kind of thing, IPO or a company to buy when there are suddenly no IPOs and no QIPs. There's nothing. And that's when you should be investing because at some point the cycle will turn if you want to make sort of quick money. I will just apply for listing it. I will do BHNI here. I think I have the ability to, I have more capital, less accounts. I'll do my BHNI here. No, just unlike you, I just have very few accounts to apply from. I think that is the difference. But yeah, I'll apply BHNI here, but for me, it's purely listing gain, and then I'll be out.
Got it. Maybe with that, let's move forward and talk about the fourth company. Just adding up a bit because we are slightly behind schedule. Would want to wrap it up at last by 1:15. So maybe the next company we'll talk about is Sanathan Textiles. This Silvassa-based company is a polyester yarn manufacturer and a global supplier of cotton yarn. It has a long-standing relationship with leading consumer brands with a low customer concentration. The company, interesting fact is the company also filed for a IPO, 1900 CR IPO in Jan 22, but had hit the brakes due to market conditions. Just setting up the IPO for Yash. So the company is coming up with an IPO of around 550 crores, out of which 400 CR is fresh. I company 400 CR raise kariye and 150 crore OFS hai, where the promoters are taking an exit. The company is valuing itself at 2709 crores, i.e. 2709 crore की वैल्यू पे कंपनी 550 crore रेज कर रही है and 20% डाइल्यूट कर रही है. And in terms of the revenue, the company's revenue is like 3000 crores approx in FY24 and they make a good 134 CR PAT as well. So it's coming along at a pretty decent PE per se, the company. And in terms of the LM, the LM for the company are DAM Financial and ICICI Securities. Dam Capital is the same company जिसके बारे में just हमने बात की, by the way, FYI. So with that, yes, do you want to go ahead and share your view on Sanathan?
Sure, Manish. So Sanathan Textile is a leading manufacturer of textile yarn, which has basically three products. The first one is polyester yarn products, which is widely used in textile application. Then the second product is cotton yarn products. The third one is technical textile, and these are the ones which are used in industrial areas, seat belts, and basically this is a textile which has high tensile strength. As of June 24, the revenue split is mostly 75% into polyester yarn products, then 18 to 20% in cotton yarn, and very less of technical textiles, which is only 4 to 5%. Majority of the margin, which is the high value added product, is technical textiles, जिसमें मार्जिन ज्यादा रहता है. तो मोस्टली मेरा इंटरेस्ट तो सिलेक्टिंग अ टेक्सटाइल कंपनी उसी की तरफ ज्यादा जाएगा कि टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल में हाउ मच रेवेन्यू, हाउ मच परसेंटेज ऑफ रेवेन्यू इट्स कमिंग फ्रॉम टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल. अभी तो करंटली 4 to 5% है. मैनेजमेंट इन आईपीओ मीट said to the fellow members ki they are planning to scale this to 7 to 8% conservatively, क्योंकि इसी में वैल्यू एडेड प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं और यही चीज पे ज्यादा मार्जिन होता है, बिकॉज मोस्टली दिस इज इनटू ये अपना नेट्स वगैरह, फिशिंग नेट्स वगैरह, सीट्स वगैरह, बेल्ट्स वगैरह इसमें यूज होता है. पॉलिस्टर यार्न में देयर आर टू मच कॉम्पिटिशन, तो मार्जिन में ज्यादा मिलता नहीं है. अभी इनके बिजनेस में भी देर आर मेनी कॉम्पिटिटर्स. अगर मैं पॉलिस्टर यार्न में बोलूँ, आलोक इंडस्ट्रीज हो गया, केपीआर मिल्स हो गया, वेल नोन पॉलिस्टर्स हो गया, नितिन स्पिनर्स हो गया, मेनी कॉम्पिटिशन. इंडस्ट्रियल टेक्सटाइल टेक्सटाइल्स में खाली गरवारे टेक्निकल फाइबर्स है, एसआरएफ डू लिटिल बिट ऑफ दैट, सुतलस टेक्सटाइल्स, देन वेल नोन पॉलिस्टर्स ऑल्सो हैव दैट. तो ओवरऑल this Sanathan Textiles have a approximately 2% market share of the total textile yarn industry as of FY24. Uh, on and as of 30th September, they have more than 3,200 active varieties of yarn products. Then they are scaling more than 45,000 SKUs and capability to even manufacture diversified portfolio of 14,000 yarn products. And with the help of that, they can easily manufacture 190,000 SKUs in various form and end uses. One of the good thing for this company is they have established a very strong relationship with few of the well-known companies like Welspun, Walson Industries, Creative Garments, Ganesha Ecosphere, Page Industries, CRM Silk Mills, and SRF. With the help of IPO money, they are doing a few things, which is they are paying off their debt. So we don't have the Q2 numbers yet in the financials. Q2 numbers. So as per the IPO meet, कंपनी ने क्या किया है कि कंपनी का जो डेट था, इट हैज ऑलमोस्ट गॉन अप टू 1100 करोड़. तो उसमें से कंपनी इज पेइंग ऑफ सम पार्ट, तो वो कम हो जाएगा. ऑलमोस्ट पोस्ट इशू 700 करोड़ का डेट आ जाएगा बैलेंस शीट पे. देन द अदर थिंग विच दे आर डूइंग इज दे हैव एक्वायर्ड 80 करोड़ लैंड इन पंजाब फॉर अ ग्रीन फील्ड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटी. तो उनका होली ओन जो सब्सिडरी है सनातन पॉलीकॉट प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, ये फैसिलिटी उसके अंडर आएगा. एंड दिस इज डेडिकेटेड प्योरली टू पॉलिस्टर यार्न प्रोडक्शन, विच विल सिग्निफिकेंटली एक्सपैंड देयर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैपेबिलिटीज फ्रॉम 550 टन्स पर डे टू 1500 टन्स पर डे. बट इसमें भी एक चीज हमें देखने वाली है कि इसका जो कंस्ट्रक्शन था वो अगस्त 2023 में शुरू हो चुका था. एंड दिस फेज 1 एक्सपेंशन इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू बी ऑपरेशनल इन फ्रॉम अप्रैल 25. ठीक है, तो अप्रैल 25 में वो एक्सपेंशन स्टार्ट होगा, जिससे अनदर 700 टन्स पर डे ऐड हो जाएगा. तो 550 तो पहले से था, प्लस 700 टन्स ऐड हो जाएगा, तो 1250 के आसपास आ जाएगा. देन विच इज द फेज 2. जो फेज 2 में है उसमें एडिशनल 250 टन्स पर डे का कंट्रीब्यूशन होगा, जो कि FY27 से ऐड होना स्टार्ट होगा. ठीक है, इसके बाद एडिशनली व्हाट दे हैव डन इज दे हैव इनिशिएटेड अ कॉटन यार्न ऑपरेशंस यूनिट इनके सिलवासा फैक्ट्री में, जिसमें कैपेसिटी है 540 मेगाटन्स पर एनम की प्लांट. एंड दे प्लान टू कमेंस ऑपरेशन एट यूनिट 4 जो 2026 में होगा, जिसमें दे ऐड क्लोज टू 11,000 टन्स. तो अभी ये जो पंजाब फैसिलिटी है ना, दे हैव अ वेरी वेरी स्ट्रेटेजिक एडवांटेज, क्योंकि वो ऐसे जगह पे है जहां पे इनको लॉजिस्टिक्स एंड सप्लाई चेन का इशू नहीं होता है. तो काफी अच्छी जगह पे है, क्योंकि लॉजिस्टिक सप्लाई चेन इज मेजर प्रोपोर्शन, क्योंकि पूरे इंडिया में दे आर सप्लाइंग, अगर इतना बड़ा मार्केट शेयर है तो. द वन मोर थिंग इज कि जो भी इनका मशीनरी वगैरह है दैट इज क्वाइट ऑटोमेटेड. एंड जैसे ही इनका वो बनेगा, जैसे ही स्टार्ट होना लग जाएगा, तो रॉ मटेरियल्स भी वहीं से निकलना चले जाएगा. ठीक है, अभी करंटली लास्ट 3 years से द प्लांट इज रनिंग एट ऑलमोस्ट फुल कैपेसिटी. पॉलिस्टर का 101%, कॉटन यार्न का 110% एंड टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल 93% पे है. लास्ट 3 years से फुल कैपेसिटी पे रन कर रही है कंपनी. फाइनेंशियल्स में देर इज नो ग्रोथ ड्यू टू वेरियस रीजंस. FY22 की अगर मैं बात करूं तो काफी ज्यादा ग्रोथ देखने को मिला है FY22 में कंपेयर टू 2023 एंड 24. क्योंकि उसमें क्या हुआ था कि इवन मेजोरिटी ऑफ द टेक्सटाइल कंपनीज लाइक जो इनके पीयर्स भी हैं, केपीआर मिल लिमिटेड, वर्धमान टेक्सटाइल लिमिटेड एंड इंडो काउंट, सबके मार्जिन्स एक्सपैंड हो गए थे उस समय. तो पूरा टेक्सटाइल को बेनिफिट मिला था उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे. तो इनके भी मार्जिन्स एक्सपैंड हुए थे. करंटली दे आर रनिंग एट नेट प्रॉफिट मार्जिन ऑफ 4 to 5%, बट FY22 में इनका मार्जिन क्लोज टू 10 to 11% था. केपीआर मिल का 17% था, जिसका अभी 13% है. वर्धमान वॉज 16% FY22 में, एंड अभी करंटली 6.4% पे रन कर रहा है. तो दिस वाज जस्ट वन टाइम डिमांड एंड सप्लाई का जो गैप था, उसमें दे वर एक्सपीरियंसिंग. देन FY23 में इनको सप्लाई चेन इश्यूज आने लगे. FY24 में वंस इन 5 year दे शट डाउन देयर वन प्लांट, जिससे कि वो मेंटेनेंस वगैरह करते हैं, जिसकी वजह से डी ग्रोथ आया. देन FY25 ऑल्सो वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग फ्लैट नंबर्स, क्योंकि कैपेसिटीज तो ज्यादा है नहीं. देन FY26 में the promoter is very confident on doing 70 to 80% utilization. तो अभी करंट कैपेसिटी इनका 2.23 lakhs है. देन वो एक्सपैंड होके 2.5 lakhs हो जाएगा. तो 2.5 lakhs एक्सपैंड होगा. तो मोटा मोटी FY27 तक इनका कैपेसिटी 5.81 lakhs के आसपास का आ जाएगा. तो FY26 में मोस्टली 70 to 80% ग्रोथ आ सकता है इन कैपेसिटी यूटिलाइजेशन. तो रेवेन्यू के टर्म्स में 50 to 60% ग्रोथ इज इजिली अज्यूमेबल कि वो लोग कर सकते हैं. पोस्ट इशू इनका डेट भी कम हो जाएगा, तो इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट कम हो जाएगा. दे आर पेइंग ऑफ सम डेट. देन नया प्लांट लगेगा, तो इस अगले नेक्स्ट ईयर से ही आई थिंक नेक्स्ट ईयर के बाद उसमें डेप्रिसिएशन इंक्लूड होने लग जाएगा. तो आई थिंक FY24 पे ठीक पी पे आ रहा है. आई थिंक 13.5 का पी है. बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ FY26 द कंपनी इज वैल्यूड एट क्लोज टू 8.5 to 9 का पी. प्रमोटर पेडिग्री इज वेरी गुड. आई थिंक ग्रोथ नेक्स्ट ईयर से ही आएगा. वी कैन टेक अ लॉन्ग टर्म बेट, बट IPO अप्लाई करना नहीं करना इज टोटली डिपेंडेंट ऑन की लिस्टिंग डे पे कितना मिलेगा. तो आई डोंट थिंक देयर विल बी मच लिस्टिंग गेन्स, बिकॉज ऑलरेडी काफी अच्छा प्राइस्ड है. एंड ये टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल्स में भी नहीं है, तो ज्यादा पी भी नहीं मिलेगा. आई थिंक 15 to 16 पी इज इनफ फॉर अ कंपनी टू वैल्यू. एंड 1 ईयर का स्टोरी है. अगर किसी को इफ समवन अप्लाइज एंड इफ समवन गेट्स, तो मे बी होल्ड एंड सी वेयर द कंपनी गोज एंड देन टेक डिसीजन.
Got it. Thanks, Yash, for your review. एक आध क्वेश्चन है जो मेरा आपकी तरफ से, like I understand I just want to understand from you what has happened to the company, like why has the size degrown so much over the last 2-3 years?
साइज इन टर्म्स ऑफ
Yeah.
रेवेन्यू, मनीष वही था कि FY22 में तो इनको काफी बेनिफिट मिला पोस्ट कोविड मार्जिन एक्सपेंशन का. डिमांड सप्लाई गैप था. देन FY23 में इनके सप्लाई चेन इश्यूज आने लगे, लॉजिस्टिक्स इश्यूज आने लगे, तो उसकी वजह से रेवेन्यू वगैरह मार्जिन वगैरह कम हुए. FY24 में डी ग्रोथ हो गया, क्योंकि 5 साल में एक बार ये लोग प्लांट बंद करते हैं. एंड अभी तो मतलब उस पे भी कैपेसिटी इनकी 3 साल से इन्होंने कुछ बढ़ाई नहीं है. तो आई थिंक दिस इज द रीजन जिसकी वजह से इनका रेवेन्यू इज क्वाइट गोइंग डाउन बिकॉज ऑफ द फॉलोइंग रीजंस. क्योंकि टेक्सटाइल पे तो वही है, मतलब कि क्वाइट फ्रेगमेंटेड मार्केट है. एंड बहुत ज्यादा डेविएशंस आ जाते हैं. एंड विदाउट न्यू कैपेसिटी ये कुछ कर भी नहीं सकते थे. तो आई थिंक कैपेसिटी अब आ रहा है, तो देयर शुड बी सम लॉन्ग टर्म गेन्स इसमें.
Got it. And do you see the right to exist for this company? I'm asking this question because this seems like one of those players which has been in the market for long. So do you see that this will remain in the market and this is more of a long-term bet where people can take a bet, right?
यस, करेक्ट. दिस शुड बी अ लॉन्ग टर्म बेट, क्योंकि लिस्टिंग गेन्स में तो आई डोंट थिंक कुछ मिलना चाहिए. क्योंकि 13-14 का पी जो पॉलिस्टर यान में काम कर रहा है इज इनफ मेरे हिसाब से. क्योंकि पी उनको ज्यादा मिलता है जो टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल्स करते हैं. इसका ज्यादा उसमें है नहीं, उसमें ज्यादा काम नहीं है इनका. तो आई थिंक अभी तो उतना वैल्यूएशन नहीं मिलेगा, बट एक साल ऑलमोस्ट 1.5 years तक 50-60% गेन देखने को मिल सकता है इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रॉफिट. तो आई थिंक इट शुड रिफ्लेक्ट ऑन द स्टॉक प्राइस एज वेल.
Got it. Thanks for your review, Yash. Tanmay, do you have anything to add on this?
मतलब एक्चुअली बहुत ही ज्यादा प्लेन वैनिला काइंड ऑफ अ कंपनी है. FY22 margins and revenues were up drastically due to the pent up demand post COVID. 23 the normalization happened and 23 was a degrowth. उसका एक रीजन है कि 1.5 month के लिए इनका प्लांट का इंटीग्रेटेड प्लांट था, उसका एक लाइन इनको शट करना पड़ा था जो 5 साल में एक बार करते हैं फॉर द मेंटेनेंस पर्पस. उसकी वजह से इनका थोड़ा रेवेन्यू कट हुआ है. एंड आई एम इवन एक्सपेक्टिंग FY25 जो करंट फाइनेंशियल वो भी फ्लैट ही रहेगा. बट यस, मैनेजमेंट has सेट की जो अगले साल हमारा कैपेक्स आ रहा है, मतलब 2,22,000 टन एग्जिस्टिंग है, 2,50,000 का नया आ रहा है और उसके बाद और 1,20,000 का आएगा. तो ये जो 2,50,000 का उसमें का 60-70%, एक्चुअली उन्होंने 80% का नंबर है, बट आई पर्सनली डोंट फील कि दैट इज अप्रोचेबल और रैशनल. सो 60-70% यूटिलाइजेशन, तो रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ तो अच्छा आ सकता है. बट एंड द EBITDA मार्जिन भी इन्होंने कहा है कि 10.5 से 11.5% के बीच कंसिस्टेंट रहेगा एंड इट विल इंप्रूव फर्दर पोस्ट ऑल द कैपेक्स. तो मतलब अब ऐसा नॉर्मल सा बिजनेस है, बट यस वैल्यूएशन एट व्हाट दे आर ऑफरिंग इज एक्चुअली अट्रैक्टिव. इसका रीजन ये भी है कि दे वर इंटेंडिंग फॉर 5500 6000 crore वैल्यूएशन इन at 1.5 2 years back, and now they're coming at 2700 and capex आ रहा है. So it's possible कि market will figure it out. And दत्तानी family का business है ये. Third generation of them has already came in the business, and the generation is quite good. I listen to the promoters and the young guys. So मतलब I'm not saying कि बहुत ऐसा तोड़फोड़ कंपनी है, नॉर्मल बहुत नॉर्मल बिजनेस है, बट at what valuation they have offered is actually cheap. So it might do well in long term. For listing ins, I personally don't know what happened. बुरे मार्केट में लिस्ट नहीं होगा ये अच्छा.
Got it. So with that, and my question before we wrap up this specific issues, are you guys planning to apply for Sanathan Textile? I haven't made a mind yet, so I don't know. I'll probably follow what you guys are saying, but what is your view on applying to Sanathan? Maybe Tanmay.
I personally haven't taken any kind of call, but मेरे भी प्रायोरिटी लिस्ट में नीचे ही रहेगा ये, ऊपर तो नहीं है as of now.
Yeah, there are a lot of good issues. That is what is happening, right? So maybe until the companies that we have covered till now, just want to highlight Mamata would probably put a retail application. Concord Enviro might put a SHNI. Dam Capital would put a SHNI or some kind of a big HNI to just try my luck. Sanathan would probably put a retail or would see if I can get some allotment in some shape and form, but definitely will not go full force because there are a lot better companies as well. Specifically on day two, also there are some good companies. So maybe एक suggestion for everyone. Definitely keep some money for day two. हम ट्राई ये भी करेंगे कि डे टू की कंपनीज का भी स्पेस कल ही कर दें ताकि मंडे को आप जब अप्लाई कर रहे हो तो आपको एग्जैक्टली पता हो कि आपको ट्यूसडे के लिए कितना पैसा बचा के रखना है. And again, having said that, there's no guarantee because what we will say is कि depends. End of the day, we'll end up following the institutions. अगर institution नहीं आएंगे तो मैं कितना भी positive उस company के लिए I will temper the size. So what we say is essentially just like what we will do if in case this happens. So a lot of it will end up depending on how markets go, what is the situation. But what we'll do is we'll tell our strategy as such. With that, maybe moving forward and talking about the next company, this should be a rather small and quick company, and I think Rohit will cover it in shorter time than how much I will take it up to set it up. But yeah, just talking about one quick SME before we move forward to the main board issue, which is New Malayalam Steel. New Malayalam Steel, the company is setting up IPO. It's a 42 CR IPO, all of which is fresh issue, and the company is coming at a market cap of 156 crores. The financials company makes like 303 CR financials, and the PAT for the company is 4.26 CR. In terms of the LM, it is Khandwala Securities. One interesting thing to note about the company, it has just 10% QIB, i.e. there'll be no anchor investors in this, and all of the float will be available on day one. So with that, Rohit, I haven't consciously set up the company in terms of what it does. Do you want to very quickly go and talk about it?
Yeah, I think you've told everything. I'll just add, I'm going to speak for 30 seconds on this company. So this company makes galvanized iron pipes. These are pipes that are used in water sector, transport sector. It's a fairly commodity product. They're based in Kerala. They sell this under this DMAC brand. The company personally doesn't excite me a lot. They today operate at around a 65% capacity. There's no as such plan to scale up. They are saying that they will grow 10 to 15% year on year, so they don't need to scale up. Even if the last 3 years, there's been hardly any change in volume. Revenue has fallen because of the fall in commodity prices. In H1, there was a jump in PAT just because they had bought the steel at rock bottom prices, and then there was a slight increase in steel prices, so they were able to make a incremental PAT there. They're saying they'll maintain it, but again, it really does not matter so much because the cyclicality will continuously, it'll keep happening. When a SME says I'm going to grow 10-15% year on year, I don't think it will excite SME investors. The asking price is like 16 times. Add that to one, I think if I annualize this, there are no anchors. As Manish said, this is a book built issue. It's rare to find a book built with no anchor, with like a tiny namesake QIB component. And that QIB is being filled 1x, which means whatever, it has been managed by the LM. The promoters seem fine. There's one interview. They seem genuine. They seemed honest. So I'm not questioning the company or the quality of the company or the genuineness of the company. But as investors who are looking for either listing gains or something genuinely exciting to apply long term, this does not tick those boxes. The sector is not interesting. These companies just go into this limbo where they will fall non-stop post listing. Some flippers will come buy on listing and then it will just hit 10 LCs. It just doesn't make any sense. I will be avoiding it. It's a blind avoid. Don't even look at the GMP. It's completely fake. Every single Khandwala issue has a 30% GMP. On day one, as soon as the IPO is there, they'll have 30% GMP. It's enough to fill the issue, list at zero or it'll list at minus 20%. So nothing against the company, but this is not exciting when there's so much supply of IPOs and, places for people to invest, especially if the market is negative. It has a 0% chance of doing well. So I'm personally staying away. It just doesn't tick the boxes needed.
Perfect. Thank you so much for covering this company. No cross questions from my end. We can probably just move straight into the last company for the day, which is Transrail Lighting. And again, this is a slightly more debated company, so we'll take 15 minutes of our time. Everyone just try and be a slightly more attentive because this is there are different opinions on this company. So we need to understand what are the opinions and then basis that take a call. Having said that, let me set up the company. Transrail is an engineering and construction company focused on power transmission, distribution and manufacturing of lattice structures, conductors and monopoles. The interesting fact about this company is that it's in T&D sector, which is going through a structural change with multiple tailwinds. Just setting up the IPO is coming at a size of 839 crores, out of which 400 CR is a fresh issue and 439 CR is OFS. The company is valuing itself at 5800 crores. 5800 करोड़ पे कंपनी आ रही है. अगर मैं फाइनेंशियल्स की बात करूं तो FY24 फाइनेंशियल्स रेवेन्यू जो कंपनी ने किया वो 4130 करोड़ का था और जो इनने पैट किया वो अराउंड 233 करोड़ का था. So they did a PAT of 233 crores and are coming at a market cap of 5800 crores. So it's coming at let's say FY24 25 PE. By the way, FY24 is 9 months behind us. So FY25 पे देखना चाहिए पर से. But yeah, in terms of the LMs are Inga Ventures, Axis, IDBI and HDFC. So with that, Tanmay, do you want to go ahead and talk about Transrail Lighting? Before you do that, just want to highlight everyone, if you're joined in between or if you have to drop off, ऊपर comments में YouTube channel का link है. Go ahead and follow the YouTube channel as well. वहाँ पे you can listen to this space at your own leisure later. With that, Tanmay, over to you.
Is my voice clear?
Yes.
And I'll request everyone कि जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ थोड़ा ध्यान से सुनना, because ये पहले की 2-3 कंपनीज की तरह नहीं है. थोड़ा सा इसको आपको अच्छे से सुनना पड़ेगा. See, Transrail Lighting Limited is an EPC company, engineering, procurement and construction company, which focuses on power transmission and distribution, T&D in short form. It has integrated facilities for lattice structures, conductors and monopoles. It also does EPC for air insulated and gas insulated substations. This is मतलब आजकल ये जो सेक्टर है ना, ये थोड़ा सा हॉट थीम है ट्रांसमिशन एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में. एंड दिस कंपनी इन इंडिया इज अ वेरी लीडिंग काइंड ऑफ अ प्लेयर. This company also has some EPC work or construction work in the railway segment, 2.5% kind of revenue. And it also does the poles and lighting, मतलब आपका street lights and that all, or even for the corporate level lighting and all that, वो भी करता है. तो बहुत सारे segment करता है. As of now, this company has executed 200 plus projects in India and 58 different countries. इन्होंने आज तक 36,000 plus CKM transmission lines install करी है. 70% of their revenue comes from the government, complete order book का, or the complete revenue का, 30% from the private sector. As of now, this company's order book is 10,200 crores and they have already been got the L1 for 3,200 crores. Okay. This company is raising 839 crores, 400 crore is fresh, 439 is OFS, completely done by the promoter group. In this 400 crore fresh issue, the company is spending 250 crores towards working capital. Okay. And they're doing capex for 91 crores. What is this capex? They're in this whole industry, their majority players outsource the lattice structures. What is lattice? KP engineering, KP green engineering, KP gel, जो चीज बनाता है, उनका जो main revenue जिससे आता है वही चीज है. So that has been outsourced from a different company, and then this T&D companies use that for concluding their EPC work and project. So they make actually very small, thin kind of margins, like 7, 8, 6% EBITDA margins. But this company has in-house facilities for this lattice structures, conductors, and monopoles, which makes this company better than the peers in terms of margins from half of its peers. So this company will incur that 91 crores towards capex for increasing the capacity to manufacture this all these lattice structures, monopoles, conductors. Okay. This company did a revenue of 3,152 crores in FY23. PAT was 107.6 crores. In FY24, there was a roughly 30% growth, 4,078 crores revenue, 233 crores PAT. It almost 2.2x. In Q1, the revenue was 916 crores and PAT was 51.7 crores. If one will analyze, it will look like a 220 crore, 230 crore kind of a PAT, but H2 is a bit heavy. 55-45 is an ideal mix for the rest peers. Here it can be 58 or 52. I personally feel it can be somewhere around 47-53 because more than other companies, this company has more skewness towards exports, which has a bit better what we can say distribution of revenue or accountancy, or a better word would be consistency. So it should ideally be 47-53 kind of a mix. What I personally feel is this company has done an EBITDA margin of 13.1%. But what management is saying is in FY24 they did 11 and 11.4%, I guess. So management is saying that Q1 में थोड़ा ज़्यादा था margin, but at console level for whole year the margin should be somewhere between 11.2 to this 13.1% kind of a band. मतलब roughly 12.5% indirectly मैं बोलूँ तो 12.5% का EBITDA margin रहेगा in FY25 and even FY26 में एक 20, 30, 40 basis points might be the improvement. Now see, this company is coming at 5,800 crore market cap. अगर मैं FY24 पे बोलूँ तो 24.9 times पे आ रहा है, roughly 25 times, and FY25 estimated earnings पे 22-21 kind of PE पे आ रहा है. बहुत attractive है, but than the peers तो बहुत ज्यादा attractive because इनका peers देखो तो Basil जो recent profitable हो तो उसका PE कुछ 800-700 दिखता है. Case International is a very giant, trades at 50-60 kind of a PE. They have shown one their peer as Patel Engineering, which is not apple to apple, but okay, can be compared in some sense. It trades at 18 P. There is one more company, I'm not getting the name. It roughly trades at 30-35 P. So overall valuations are okay. Okay, I'll just highlight a few things now. This company first of all, this company has already raised 65 crores secondary placement, pre-IPO placement, not secondary, it's a pre-IPO placement, which was done at 484 rupees per share. मतलब roughly 6,200 crores का market cap है, 6,400 crores का market cap पे आया था. अभी IPO is coming at 432 rupees. Don't know why the 11-12% valuation cut has been done. Investors were Ashish Kacholia, Paul Rado Partners, which is owned by Akash Bansali, he is the main partner, and the Rajasthan Global, which is our general SME kind of investor. अभी ये पूरे कंपनी में ये all these things are the face of this company, but there are many different things to be considered while studying this company. First of all, the trade receivables. Out of the trade receivables, it's clearly given कि इनका in FY24 138 crore and in the first quarter 186 crores is from Bangladesh. Okay, first of all, this company on TV, the company was asked to their promoter, I get Digambar something was his name. So he was asked कि आप कैसे मतलब आपका जो एक्सपोर्ट बिजनेस है 40-60 का बिजनेस है 40-42% फ्रॉम इंडिया एंड रेस्ट फ्रॉम द एक्सपोर्ट्स मींस आउट ऑफ इंडिया, तो आप ये हेज कैसे करते हो? बिकॉज देयर आर सम जियोपॉलिटिकल रिस्क्स, देयर आर सम पॉलिटिकल रिस्क इन ईच कंट्री, बिकॉज अफ्रीका हैज सम डिफरेंट प्रॉब्लम्स, नॉर्थ अमेरिका हैज सम डिफरेंट प्रॉब्लम्स, बांग्लादेश का आप सबको पता है. सो दिस कंपनी सेड कि इन अफ्रीका मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट्स आर फंडेड बाय द वर्ल्ड बैंक, द डेवलपमेंट बैंक्स एंड द लोकल गवर्निंग बॉडीज. बट on Bangladesh, the promoter didn't spoke a single word. He ignored the question or bypass kind of a question. So 324 crores RHP का फिगर है बांग्लादेश से ट्रेड रिसीवेबल है. Q1 Q2 का नंबर मुझे पता नहीं क्यों दिया नहीं है. 31 दिसंबर के बाद अगर IPO ले तो कंपलसरी देना पड़ता, but they bought it at this point, so don't know why they didn't give their Q2 numbers. There are many issues in this company, like kind of पहली बात तो इनका अभी इन्होंने ना ऑर्डर बुक बहुत स्मार्ट तरीके से बताई है, मतलब वेरी आई गेस वी शुड सैल्यूट टू देयर अकाउंटेंट्स कैसे वो करते हैं। इनका टोटल 10,200 करोड़ का ऑर्डर बुक है। उन्होंने इसका स्प्लिट कैसे दिया है, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एंड आई गेस अ न्यू लर्निंग फॉर मी कि कैसे दिखाते हैं, कैसे छुपाती चीजें। 40% इज फ्रॉम, मतलब इनका रेवेन्यू स्ट्रक्चर FY24 41%, 40.5% वाज इंडिया, 60% वाज एक्सपोर्ट। इन द ऑर्डर बुक उन्होंने स्प्लिट ऐसा दिया है कि हमारा इंडिया का ऑर्डर बुक इज 39.5%, ओके, एंड आउट ऑफ इंडिया 60.5%। 60.5% का उन्होंने ब्रेकअप देखा, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। उन्होंने पहला किया है दिस सार्क कंट्रीज, ओके, देन दे हैव मेट द यूएस। मतलब ये एक्चुअली ये ज्योग्राफिकल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं है, ये भी उन्होंने स्मार्ट तरीके से ऐसा किया है कि हमारा जो ऑर्डर बुक है उसका जो वैल्यू है वो फॉरेन करेंसी के टर्म्स में कौन से कंट्री से कितना आएगा, ओके। सो डॉलर टर्म्स में 55% है, this 41% is from the SAARC countries, okay, and the rest is from North America and Africa, okay। अभी एक चीज समझो, SAARC countries क्या होता है? It is the group of countries which consists Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, okay। The SAARC order book does not consist the India order book. The reason is there are two different segments, in India, outside India। in India का already 39.5% है, 40.5% है, out of India 59.5%। I'm just messing with that 1% just to take the math। तो जो आउट ऑफ इंडिया का रेवेन्यू है उसका 41% इज फ्रॉम दी सार्क कंट्रीज। अगर मैं उसको नॉर्मल फिगर्स में उतारूं तो 10,200 में से 2,450 करोड़ सार्क कंट्रीज से है। पाकिस्तान में कोई बिजनेस नहीं होने वाला, ना अफगानिस्तान में होगा, नेपाल में बहुत ही छोटा बिजनेस है, मालदीव दे डोंट वर्क, श्रीलंका में भी दे डोंट वर्क, बहुत छोटे प्रोडक्ट से 5-10 करोड़ के श्रीलंका से। इसका मतलब क्या, 2,400 करोड़ बांग्लादेश से ही उन्होंने इनडायरेक्टली नहीं बताया, छुपाया है, विच इज I didn't like that personally, and they haven't said that in interview. These are World Bank funded projects. These are government projects. And यहाँ पे एक चीज ये भी है कि इन्होंने एक नंबर RSP में दिया है कि 70% of the revenue comes from government and 30% from the private। अभी बांग्लादेश में कोई प्राइवेट बंदा तो T&D का बिजनेस नहीं देगा, मतलब मेजरली गवर्नमेंट रिलेटेड ही बिजनेस है यार, गवर्नमेंट ही रहेगा। वेरी लीस्ट कंपनीज हैव दोस कैपेबिलिटीज टू डील विद प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स फ्रॉम अ डिफरेंट कंट्री अंटिल अनलेस देयर आर समवन लाइक कोई लक्ष्मी मित्तल अफ्रीका में जाकर अपना प्लांट डाल रहे स्टील का, सो दे विल टेक द इंडियन वेंडर। बट बांग्लादेश में ऐसा कुछ नहीं होने वाला है। बियॉन्ड द टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री, इंडियन बिजनेसेस डोंट हैव एन एक्सपोजर इन बांग्लादेश। अदानी ग्रुप से भी को भी पैसा निकालने में बहुत दिक्कत हो रहा है, आपको पता होगा, सारे केसेस वगैरह चल रही है। ये थोड़ा बाजू में रखता है, आई कम ऑन दिस पॉइंट एट अ लेटर स्टेज। There are many litigations, red flags on this company. They have almost 10 to 15 complaints have been registered due to non-compliance found by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs MCA। उसमें से एक देखना, पहला तो इन्फ्लेशन इन प्रॉफिट्स बाय नॉट शोइंग प्रॉमिसिंग द CSR। मतलब जो CSR में आपको एनुअल टर्नओवर का आई गेस 5 एनुअल प्रॉफिट लास्ट 3 इयर्स का आई गेस 5% या 0.5% कुछ तो होता है, वो आपने नहीं दिखाया एंड प्रॉफिट्स इन्फ्लेट करके दिखाए थे, विच वाज कॉट बाय द MCA। वन मोर थिंग, इन अभी तक इन्होंने 77 करोड़ बैड डेट रिटर्न ऑफ किया है 2018 में। ये उन्होंने MCA को नहीं बताया, दैट कंप्लीटली फ्लो इनटू पैट एंड MCA चार्ज पेनल्टीज फॉर दैट। इन्होंने पहली बात तो एक बैकग्राउंड बताता हूँ कि कंपनी का क्या कैसा होता। दिस कंपनी वाज स्टार्टेड आई गेस वे बैक इन 1980s काइंड ऑफ। इसका पहले नाम अलग हुआ करता था, बहुत अलग नाम था, दैट वाज ओन बाय दिस बाडगे द प्रमोटर, बट उनका प्रमोटर कुछ अलग था कि ट्रांस कुछ तो लंबा चौड़ा नाम था। दैट वाज ओन्ड बाय 2 entities, one was Gammon India Limited and one was this promoter Badge's one more company। So he had indirect control on Transrail, तब उसका नाम अलग था, Transrail तो 2017 में हुआ। So what he did, he indirectly acquired this company and then Gammon, अभी ये Transrail wants to acquire this Gammon India which was the former promoter। मतलब अब फॉर्मर प्रमोटर को एक्वायर कर रहे हो, वो भी उसका आपने कंसिडरेशन नहीं दिखाया, उसका क्या है, क्यों करना है, कुछ भी चीजें मेंशन नहीं है। गैमन इंडिया के अगेंस्ट ऑलमोस्ट 50 लिटिगेशन चल रहे हैं, मोर देन 50। ओके, वन मोर थिंग वाज दे डिडंट अपॉइंटेड CFO and CFO is chartered financial officer and company secretary for 2 years, which again was penalized by MCA। Failure to disclose an acquisition did in 2018, वो भी MCA ने इसके ऊपर पेनल्टी मारा था। और एक चीज, इसके ऊपर टोटल 61 टैक्स के लिटिगेशन चल रहे हैं। इसका टोटल एग्रीगेट वैल्यू 164 करोड़ और एक 110 करोड़ का सेटल कर चुके हैं, बाकी सब सेटलमेंट करना बाकी है। 61 केसेस इज इवन एन इंफ्रा कंपनी इसके ऊपर 61 केसेस नहीं होते, वैल्यू में शायद बड़ा होगा, बट कोई शादी सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर इंफ्रा कंपनी में भी इतने केसेस नहीं होते। सो व्हाट आई पर्सनली फील इज एंकर बुक एक्सट्रीमली पुअर नॉनसेंस एंकर बुक। इट वाज कंप्लीटली मैनेज व्हाट आई कैन से आउट ऑफ द एंकर बुक। अभी इसमें दो तीन चीजें हैं। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, द कंपनी हैज वर्क्स इन वेरी गुड सेक्टर, some good set of individuals. If I see the shareholding, 1% is owned by Canara Bank. I guess 4% is owned by this private equity fund called Ashwin Dani, जो है एशियन पेंट्स के, उनका प्राइवेट इक्विटी ने AIF फैमिली ऑफिस है, इन्होंने इसमें 4% पिक किया था। दिस वाज आई गेस वन एंड हाफ ईयर्स बैक। और इन्होंने जो अपने वर्किंग कैपिटल के प्रोजेक्शंस दिखाए ना, उसमें इन्होंने दिखाया कि हमारा ट्रेड रिसीवेबल 1050 करोड़ से 1400 करोड़ हो गया। मतलब दे आर एक्सपेक्टिंग हमारा ट्रेड रिसीवेबल का साइकिल थोड़ा चेंज होगा, और दिस इज अ नेगेटिव कैश फ्लो कंपनी, एंड उनका जो रिसीवेबल डेज है वो भी बढ़ रहा है। एंड दे आर सेइंग कि हमारा पहले अच्छा था, अब हम इंडस्ट्री लेवल पे आ रहे हैं और उसके बाद भी हम जा सकते हैं, ये खुद मैनेजमेंट ने बोला है। सो सेक्टर इज गुड, वैल्यूएशन आर अट्रैक्टिव। मैं खुद बोल रहा हूँ वैल्यूएशन बहुत सस्ते हैं, बट इसमें दो तीन चीजें। आपने 1-1.5 महीने पहले आशीष कचोलिया, इतने वोलरेडो, राजस्थान ग्लोबल छोड़ दो, बट बाकी के दो हाई प्रोफाइल इन्वेस्टर्स थे, लाइक विनोद सेठी भी था उसमें थे, तो इतने हाई प्रोफाइल इन्वेस्टर को 484 पे दिया, अभी आप IPO 432 पे कर रहे हो। 450 करोड़ का फ्रेश था, वो 400 हो गया। डोंट नो भाई कि अचानक इतने बड़े इन्वेस्टर को देने का आपको वैल्यूएशन कट क्यों करना पड़ा। IPO में 1.5 महीने का डिले हुआ। दिस बांग्लादेश, मतलब ये रेड फ्लैग्स है, बट यस वी कैन इग्नोर दैट कि कंपनी फ्यूचर में अच्छा करेगी। बट दिस स्मार्टनेस ऑफ शोइंग द ऑर्डर बुक एंड दिस सार्क कंट्रीज वेर यू नो दिस कंपनी डजंट वर्क इन दी अदर, श्रीलंका पाकिस्तान में तो कुछ काम नहीं करेगी, अफगानिस्तान में भी जीरो एक्सपोजर है, तो मेरे थोड़े दिमाग के बाहर गए कि आपको सीधा लिखो ना भाई, बांग्लादेश से हमारा 24-25% रेवेन्यू, तो सीधा लिख दो, बट दे डिडंट रोट दैट इन दैट सेंस। सो in long term, this company might do well due to the valuation mismatch. But on listing ends, whether market will reward or not, I'm not sure. But I personally feel कि as a business is a good business. एक अच्छा business है, order book healthy है इनका. This company, what I'm personally got the numbers is 4,080 करोड़ के सामने ये साल 48-4900 करोड़ का रेवेन्यू करेगा, और रफली पैट इनका 230 से बढ़ के 200 से 300 के ब्रैकेट में जा रहा है। इसका रीजन ऐसा है कि आप अगर इसका ऑर्डर बुक स्प्लिट देखो और L1 ऐड करो, और इन्होंने एक जगह RHP में दिया हुआ है कि आउट ऑफ द 10,200 करोड़ ऑर्डर बुक 55% विल बी एग्जीक्यूटेड नेक्स्ट 12 मंथ्स। 12 मंथ्स इज आफ्टर दैट Q1 नंबर। तो उसमें मतलब अगर 100 रुपए की चीज कर रहे हैं तो उसमें का 25 नेक्स्ट ईयर के फर्स्ट क्वार्टर में आएगा, तो पकड़ के चलो कि 10,000 का वैसा अगर आप फिगर निकालने जाओ तो इट विल कम एट रफली 38-50 करोड़, और वो आप 950 का Q1 का ऐड कर लो तो आपको नंबर आ जाएगा, बहुत नेचुरल नंबर है, नथिंग रॉकेट साइंस। सो कंपनी मैं मतलब कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस पे थोड़ा सा इसको मार्क्स कम दूंगा, ओवरऑल ठीक कंपनी लॉन्ग टर्म में अच्छा कर सकती है। आई एम नॉट श्योर, आई नो प्रीमियम इज 30-40%, बट आई एम नॉट श्योर लिस्टिंग गेम पे चलेगा या नहीं। सो और मतलब रेड फ्लैग्स तो है यार, जेन्युइनली है, बाद में होंगे नहीं होंगे आई एम नॉट श्योर। और गैमन इंडिया का क्या एक्विजिशन है, ये MCA की तरफ से यार, मतलब 1-2 बार चलता है, 1 डजन, मैंने आपको ज्यादा बताया नहीं, 1 डजन पेनल्टीज है। ये थोड़ा सा बांग्लादेश यार सीरियस कंसर्न, अदानी कैन नॉट रिकवर मनी। आप बांग्लादेश से 24% तो RFP में दिया है, और Q2 में नंबर और चेंज हुआ है। आपको जब Q2 का नंबर आएगा आई टेल यू कि क्या चेंज हुआ है, आई नो द चेंज। तो दैट इज अ मैसिव रेड फ्लैग। सो आई एम नॉट श्योर ऑन लिस्टिंग गेन्स, बन जाए तो अच्छी बात है। ओके
तन्मय, इसमें एंकर बुक वाला भी तो कुछ था ना इशू, एंकर बुक फिर
हाँ
नहीं
हाँ,
होता
भरने एंकर बुक सब्सक्राइब नहीं हो रहा था, इसलिए IPO कम किया गया था।
Tanmay, just one thing on the Bangladesh, it is given in the RHP quite clearly. I've shared you the screenshot on what page it is, but they clearly tell you how much is Bangladesh with the 3 big orders from Bangladesh.
देखो मैं इस फैक्टर में देख रहा हूँ, मैं R बिजनेस में देख रहा हूँ, वहां पे तो उन्होंने घुमा के दिखाया ना।
R business में सीधा दिखा है, it's an R business. See page 210, it's an R business है. It's about 3,500 crore they've put from Bangladesh. 3 orders, 16,1672, 15.
I was wrong on 24% number. Actually, it's 32%.
Yeah, it's 35%. Yeah, it's close to 35%.
हाँ, मतलब इंडिया से 40%, बांग्लादेश से 35%. Very good.
The number is there. As in, they have not tried to hide it. The number is
Okay.
there.
Mistake from my part, maybe.
Uh, Yeah, the other thing, like there is one place you were asking, right, whether this is from World Bank or who's funding this. That information is not in the RHP, but that information is there in the last credit rating. So India Ratings had done a rating 3-4 months ago. In that they've said this is backed by bank guarantees from Bangladesh. So this is also fairly safe. Of course, if they cancel the project, I'm not sure. We don't have the actual agreement and what happens if the project just cancels. But from what I understand, this is a fairly it's like a table stakes utility project for Bangladesh. It can get delayed, but it is a kind of project that cannot get cancelled because it is just so critical to the functioning of that country. Because it's some river crossing kind of project. So this little bit I just read about that project, and it is backed by banks. So they're holding the bank guarantees from the sovereign, from Bangladesh itself, which obviously is sitting with a bank, but it's not like there is such a big payment risk. The risk is only if the company just explodes.
But
And, they just cancel the project.
Return of 77 crores of bad debt is okay दिया है RHP में. So मतलब see, I'm not saying कि कंपनी बुरा है, but यार थोड़ा lack of clarity है मैनेजमेंट का. आप इंटरव्यूज देखो, कुछ नहीं निकलता यार उसमें से. So if they are coming and giving a good interview, so investors, I'm not actually a kind of negative on this company, but I'm fearful on this company कि यार क्या चीज है. I'm sure इसमें पैसा बन जाएगा, but not at all a very kind of safe kind of investment. And any idea on this MCA lapses? Almost 10-12 penalties है. Every claim is actually bad.
Yeah, होता रहता है. बहुत companies में है. I mean, it is not a perfect company, but it's an interesting company. I was also quite surprised by the anchor fear. Like the anchors that are coming are all just SME anchors for an 800 crore issue and some good SME names, but I don't think they'll hold any weight in Mainboard. So it is a bit surprising, but there's only so much to read here. Like I remember, what was that? When you look at even say QIB subscription, right, for some of the issues that list average, like let's say Zinka Logistics, QIB was some 2 times. That means the institutions weren't interested in QIB. In like 20 days, it is at 2x the price. So there is very little, I don't know how much to read into this. As soon as
Anchor book was very good actually, yeah.
No, Zinka is good. I'm just saying the institutional interest at a point in time. Like this is institutional interest on the day of anchor. Now, 3 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now, for all people will start buying. The momentum will come and it'll end somewhere. So I'm just saying that I agree with you. The anchor book was surprisingly poor. But I feel just if you take that aside and if you account for the guarantee of all of their, like every single international order of theirs is funded or guaranteed. So that risk is there. Some amount of it, there will be risk, but that happens in most. Like I take an example of Rajesh Power, which is another T&D player that is an SME that we've studied. उसमें भी 10-10 crore या 2-3 crore हर साल वो write off करता है receivables में. These guys are doing it at a larger scale. So like clearly it's part of the segment, part of the sector. I personally will be applying. I think this is. No, I really like this segment. The segment has made.
If that thing is sorted, then this company will get that multiple sell. Like then I'm also positive.
Correct.
But यार थोड़ा सा ना वो होता है ना. See, my issue on this company is यार promoter 15 मिनट का इंटरव्यू दे रहा है, उसमें से कुछ नहीं निकल रहा. थ्योरी यार सारा फिलोसॉफी निकल रहा है, वो नहीं सुनना है हमें. So you just go and give the clarity. See now this NDTV profits interest. Sajid Mangat is asking, you tell me on Bangladesh. He's saying Africa. आपको बांग्लादेश में क्यों आंसर नहीं दे रहा है? दैट इज माई इशू. ओवरऑल कंपनी अच्छा है, बिजनेस अच्छा है, वैल्यूएशंस आई एम सेइंग जनरली आर वेरी अट्रैक्टिव, इन्वेस्टर्स आर गुड. Ashwin Dani's family fund has also invested. He's not taking anything as an OFS. So if that thing is sorted, I am positive on this company.
Plus one more thing on anchor book वाला part कि अगर तो एंकर बुक का तो मतलब एंकर्स का भी ऑलरेडी 50% 1 मंथ में खुलता है, देन 50% 90 डेज पे खुलता है. 90 डेज फ्रॉम नाउ इज ऑलमोस्ट वेयर द कंपनी विल स्टार्ट पोस्टिंग इट्स रिजल्ट्स. सो तन्मय एक क्लैरिटी चाहिए था. इज इट ऑल्सो नेसेसरी और अ रूल फॉर अ न्यूली लिस्टेड कंपनी टू पोस्ट देयर नंबर्स? क्योंकि अगर एंकर बुक सब्सक्राइब नहीं हुआ है तो शोइंग की 50% पैसा ब्लॉक होने के चांसेस है, या फिर दे आर फेयरिंग समवट कि रिजल्ट्स में कुछ हो सकता है. Is there any rule, तन्मय?
सर रूल ऐसा है कि अभी देखो जनरल रूल है, अगर आपका 31 दिसंबर के आगे अगर आईपीओ था आपको Q2 देना कंपलसरी था. ये कंपनी पे इट वाज कि आप if you want to give then give, but if you don't want to give don't give. It was on the company. But this is not that textile kind of segment कि यार आप Q2 नहीं दिया वो फिर से Q3 में रिकवर हो जाएगा, it will go. It's a T&D business. So I was personally expecting कि Q2 देना चाहिए था, but ओवरऑल देखते चलो Q2 नंबर्स आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग गुड तो रहेंगे, बट देखते रिसीवेबल साइड और वो सब क्या चीजें होता है.
Okay.
Must.
I think
This feels
one
like
statement, yeah, just one statement. I don't remember now because I don't recall which interview. I think they mentioned something about the Bangladesh thing running on track and sort of running on fast track. I don't know if I'm misremembering or what, but one of the interviews he said something like that. No, do you recall?
मतलब यार on Bangladesh point he's not saying anything, but yes, his company paired to do some good growth. So that time I guess he said कि we are on track and we are on fast track, ऐसा कुछ तो बोला उन्होंने. I guess that was
Okay.
related to
The
growth.
credit, yeah. I'll try and see if I can find that. I'll try and see if I can just. One of the interviews he said that. Also, this rating review, this India ratings, they've not changed the rating. Like this also happened after this whole Bangladesh ka issue only. They did not change the credit rating of the company or they did not downgrade it. And they have also said that the Bangladesh issue, at least at that time, had a 4-5 day delay, but after that things have started running smoothly. It was a short time frame now. Again, 3-4 months have happened since. But it'll be good if another rating agency comes out with a rating and gives some clarity on this. Or maybe on listing, maybe when the promoters feel comfortable about talking post-listing, because of whatever restrictions they have before the issue is live. Maybe that time we'll get some more clarity.
ये और एक इशू है दिस वैभव हैज हाइलाइटेड इज कि GAIF and GITF's accounts are blocked from new investments in Indian securities. That is a promoter group entity of this company that is blocked by SEBI for investing FDI through FDI route. मतलब पैसा घुमा रहे थे indirectly. So let us check कि क्या चीज है. I'll read this and get back. कुछ तो है money launch का चीज है, promoter group entity है. It has been banned by SEBI.
got it. This feels like a very small repeat deja vu of what happened on C2C. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to add anything in terms of like just having to say a lot. My one question, I think a lot of it has already been discussed and we are already significantly behind time. What are you guys planning to do? I'll give my view. I am going to apply this issue, but I will not go full force because I have a better company to apply in. So over to you guys for your review.
I think now everyone wants to know what that better company is.
We will reveal that in next phase.
I think to answer that question, people have to log in tomorrow.
Yeah, but what are you planning to do for Tanmay?
I will apply. I will apply full force, yes.
Got it. Tanmay, what would your review be? Have you posted the final verdict for Tanmay?
No, I'm done with Mamata. I'll post today on Dam Capital, Sanathan, and ideally Transrail, and the next set will be done soon.
Got it. But for now, what is your headache? Where is your headache?
I'm not applying any of them in full force.
Got it. Okay.
I will do what Tanmay will say.
यार मेरे को साई लाइफ ढूंढना है यार दूसरा. ये जनता जिधर है मुझे नहीं पसंद वो चीजें.
Got it. With that, maybe we can wrap up the space now. Just want to highlight, अगर आपने बीच में ज्वाइन किया है तो आप ऊपर YouTube चैनल पे जाके specific companies का review भी पढ़ सकते हो. But yeah, one thing which I wanted to kind of end with is there are going to be more companies which are ending on Tuesday. So just to highlight the companies which are closing on Tuesday are Ventive Hospitality, Synoris Pharmaceuticals, and Carraro India. And then on Thursday, Unimac Aerospace is also ending, which seems like a good company from what I have read so far. And then on the SME side as well, there are a few companies which are ending, which is your Solar 91 is ending on Friday. So either we'll do one space tomorrow where we'll cover all 5, or we'll at least do one space tomorrow where we cover the 3 companies, ताकि उस हिसाब से अपने को पता रहे कि Monday और Tuesday को करना क्या है. So with that, we'll kind of wrap up the space today. It's been a long space, and then we'll come back with follow up to this space tomorrow. I hope you guys had fun listening to this review. I'll also post this on YouTube later. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Any last comments from anyone?
Nothing, sir. Have to go.
Nothing but next step should be very interesting.
Perfect. With that, let's leave it there. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thank you.